everybody, this is Tulip.
And this is Cassidy.
And I just want to say, let me help you because the Glock has a tendency to jam.
And remember, no means yes.
So, obviously, we're here to talk about Preacher. This is the good news, the gospel according to AMC's Preacher.
Season 2, Episode 9, Puzzle Pieces.
Yes. Is it Puzzle Piece or Puzzle Pieces?
I'm
saying... It's Puzzle Piece.
Oh, it's Puzzle Piece. Yeah, because there's just one missing puzzle piece.
Right.
Apparently. I think there's several, but we'll get into that.
So, how did you rate it?
I rated it 3.2 Hungarian Hunchbacks.
Oh, you gave it kind of a low rating.
I did. It had a lot in the episode, but it was a middle episode. It was a middle book.
So it was less of a middle book for me the second time I watched it.
Did you only watch it twice?
Because I only watched it
twice.
Times. I actually liked it better the second time through.
I did too, but the third time through, I was like, I'm bored.
Well, God's forgive me. I rated it 4 out of 5 indigent halfwits.
Wow.
And I'm actually asking for forgiveness for using that epithet, not necessarily for giving it that rating.
I was actually shocked that he didn't use the R word, which that word almost more than any other word, like just it grates on me.
Oh, that would have totally been a hair star word.
Right? I had to go back and rewatch that part because I could have sworn, I was like, what did he say? Because he didn't say the R word.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. But apparently Hungarian hunchbacks make great suits. Lots of attention to detail.
The whole Grail Industries storyline is a little unsavory.
But it's growing on me.
Yeah, I know. But
I didn't like it in the beginning. I was like, oh, where is this going? And, we took the Saint of all killers out of the picture for now, and now we've got Grail Industries, and so I guess we need a bad guy, so they're growing on me.
And I think for now is the right way to look at it.
Yeah, definitely.
So we were just looking up the ratings before we came on together, and it was so awful. I'm embarrassed to even say it. Poor Preacher did not make the top 25 for the week in cable, and they didn't even break 1 million viewers on the same day.
Yeesh.
Which is so depressing. There were 992,000 views on the same day.
So I'm hoping that this is a dip for the episode.
Right.
Yeah, the episode that's coming up.
Yes, the controversial Sarah Palin hate tweeting episode.
1 Million Moms is still praying for the cancellation.
Are they?
They are.
Well, they haven't been very successful thus far, have they?
Nope.
Although if we get 3 seasons out of Preacher, I'll be shocked.
They were really close though, but the hurricane went to Texas instead of Louisiana. Didn't quite get the 1 million likes on Facebook, so God was like, nope.
I'm keeping it. We're gonna have another season. So one of my friends who commented on the post that I put up about Preacher,
mm-hmm.
I kind of dissed him a little bit. I was like, you can't weigh in on this. You haven't even watched this series. There's no way you can tell me you have watched it. So I got a message from him the other night, and he said, I've started to watch it. I actually really like it. Ha!
See, if we could just force everyone to sit down and watch it, some of them would like it.
It would get the most amazing ratings.
Yeah.
As it is, we may be out of a podcasting gig here in a year or so.
I'm sure we'll find some other good show to podcast about.
You think?
I do. I've started watching Top of the Lake, which is actually in season 2.
Oh, I don't know that. I am not familiar with that.
I think it's a Netflix or a Hulu.
Ah.
I don't know. I don't control the TV stuff in the house. I'm just like, it's not working. It's broken. Fix it.
Oh, I got one of those calls from my neighbor last night, and I did not fix it. I could not help.
Did you try turning it off and then on again?
Actually, yes, but I think it's the Wi-Fi connection in her TV. I need to talk to her and find out how it all resolved.
Gotcha.
So, let's see. Director Michael Dowse, Dowse. He's a Canadian dude.
Of course.
He has writer, director, and producer credits, but he only has this one director credit for Preacher.
Thus far.
Right.
Yep.
But this was me looking yesterday, and we have finished the season. So I think that if he had done anything else in season 2, we would know.
Right, but I'm just hoping for that season 3 coming soon.
He has some other credits for TV, and I'm probably going to completely diss somebody's favorite TV show because I've never heard of these. Man Seeking Woman.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
The Foundation.
Nope.
And then he's worked on a few movies. It looks like What If and Goon got some attention, but I'm not familiar with those either.
Me either.
So I've got nothing good to... Well, I shouldn't say nothing good to say about it. I just have nothing enlightening to say about the director.
Yeah, no, neither do I. It looks like he directed something called FUBAR.
Right?
Which I think is funny because it's an acronym for something.
Right.
So that's kind of funny and interesting.
I mean, it looks like he's had some people who are fairly well known in his shows, but yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if we see more out of him.
I'm sure that if we dug deep enough, we would find that he went to high school with Seth Rogen. Canadian, yeah.
So the writer is a guy we talked about before, Craig Rosenberg. He has 17 producer credits for Preacher, and he's got 4 writing credits for Preacher. This one, Victor, and then last season, Finish the Song and South Will Rise Again.
Mm-hmm.
So...
good episodes.
Yeah, definitely. I really wanted to talk about Graham McTavish again as our featured cast, but I know we've talked about him. But I just want to say that Graham McTavish, Saint of All Killers, we're binging Outlander because we watched a little bit of the first season and then kind of lost track, and now we've got Stars, so we're watching it. And Graham McTavish is so great in Outlander.
Outlander, what's it about?
Oh my gosh. Okay, it's based on a book that was written probably 25 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. And it's about a woman who is a nurse in World War II who ends up going through like a time portal in a circle of standing stones and ends up back in 1743 Scotland.
Huh.
It's really good.
Okay, well, the hottie that's on the front of the IMDb page for it totally sold me.
Oh, yeah. James Fraser. Oh, yeah. Anyway, Graham McTavish plays Jamie's Uncle Dougal, and he is fantastic.
I will have to check this out.
Oh, it's so good.
Huh, cool.
Yeah. Anyways, but I didn't talk about Graham McTavish because that was all I really had to say. So I looked up the guy who plays F.J. Hoover, who is the other Grail agent.
Yes.
And for some reason, it just really tickles me to have a Grail agent named after Hoover.
Yeah, I don't think that was an accident.
No, definitely not. So this guy has tons of credits. Lots of little one episodes here and there in things like Law and Order, Southland, which is actually his tie to AMC, right? Because Cudlitz was in Southland.
Oh, I love Southland. Southland was gone before its time. Check out Southland. It is hilarious. It's like ER, but for cops.
I really need to continue watching it. I've watched the first few episodes when I kind of fell for Michael Cudlitz, and actually I fell for Michael Cudlitz in Band of Brothers, but then when he came on as Abe in Walking Dead, of course I was like, oh, I gotta check out Southland.
He plays such a good character, too. I mean, like, his character isn't a good guy, but he's a real guy.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Definitely, I need to watch it more, and if anybody out there is listening to our podcast, check out Southland and let us know what you think. Anyway, so this guy, Malcolm Barrett, who plays Hoover, he has that tie to Cudlitz and thus AMC. He has been in, just like I said, tons of stuff. He even had credits for As the World Turns.
Okay, he was in OJ the musical.
I Alrighty then.
There is something out there called OJ the musical.
That's really horrifying.
It is.
You know, my friend Todd and I talked about doing OJ tarot cards when the whole trial was going on because we thought it would be really funny. But
Oh. Not like funny, haha, like funny, ugh.
right. No, I have to say, it shows you what a dysfunctional human I am. It was funny, haha, at the time. It's not so funny now.
Well, we were talking about fairy tales on Facebook the other day, and I did mention that Di and I were raised on Grimm's fairy tales and not Disney.
Right.
Says a lot about us.
Right. Totally.
And now we podcast about a show that is totally blasphemous.
So this guy, Malcolm Barrett, sorry, I just wanted to say a couple things about him. In addition to tons of TV and stage work, he went to NYU. He's a Brooklyn native. He not only does acting, but he also is a slam poet. He does improv and he does stand-up comedy. So he sounds like a really cool guy, and he was part of a hip-hop band for a time called Sin City.
Oh my goodness. That is awesome. Jack of all trades.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, you know, we'll definitely see more of him in this season. I'm not sure if we see the Grail beyond this season or not, but I've enjoyed him. He's been humorous.
Well, it looks like he's also currently in another show called Timeless.
Right, I saw that. It's got credits through 2018.
Yeah, yeah, and I think I did see something about this where like kind of like almost a government agency is trying to go back and fix things in time type thing.
Ooh,
So
that sounds interesting. That could be really messed up.
yeah, I'm a big Doctor Who fan, so I love it when we can travel through space and time, and especially both. And Doctor Who does that for me. But yeah, traveling in time, so you get like different settings. You know, you can go back to World War II, or you can go back to JFK assassination, or you can go back to the Middle Ages, or so it gets very fun and creative with storylines and costumes and things like that. So.
Well, it'll be interesting. I mean, I like this guy as an actor, so I would be willing to give that a chance.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was a show that was on my list to watch, but there are so many shows on my list to watch.
I know. I don't have enough time to function.
Yeah.
Which
So
is
many
why
books.
we're so behind with Preacher.
Why we're so behind on Preacher. Exactly. That, and if I sound even weirder than usual, and if I start like coughing in the microphone, I have walking pneumonia. So we've pushed the podcasting like back an additional week.
Yeah.
Not like we're already 4 weeks behind.
And we have Fear the Walking Dead this weekend.
Yes, we do.
So, gosh. All right. So, your gospel. Tell me about your gospel.
Like I said, the Grail Industries is really growing on me. And I know that I hated on her in the beginning, but I'm really, really liking Laura Featherstone.
Oh, funny.
She's my kind of crazy. I love that she knows she's about to get like executed and the gun jams, and so she's like helping him clear the jam and
propositioning him
and telling him it's been a great honor. And then towards the end where she's like, it will be an honor to die for our cause. And she's so my kind of crazy. She's really, really growing on me as a character, and I hope she sticks around.
So are you going to be Laura Featherstone for Halloween?
Probably not.
I think I'm going to run a zombie 5K on Halloween.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. It's a virtual 5K, so
okay.
It's just me and my treadmill and everybody's virtual scores, but I think I'm going to do that.
So here's the thing. I love Halloween. Halloween is the only holiday in my book. There are no other holidays.
Pretty much that you and I are cut from the same cloth there.
Yeah, so I always go as something clever and wind up having to explain my costume to everybody.
You would definitely have to explain Laura Featherstone to most people, unfortunately.
Right? I had to explain Daenerys Targaryen to people at my work.
You
I
are
had
kidding.
No, I had the dragons and everything.
Oh my god.
I had to explain Negan. I wore like this cutesy little floral dress and had a basket of muffins and this pretty hat and everything and a sash that said Stepford Welcoming Committee, and nobody got it. Right?
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm so done with the indie costumes. Like I went as like a butterfly one year because I was just like I'm sick of and then people were like, "So is this something that's like from a show?" I'm like, "No, I'm just a butterfly this year."
You clearly work with people who are culturally blighted.
Right? Oh, and by the way, if you sit in an office chair all day, don't dress as anything with wings. Just as an FYI.
So I think I'm going as Wonder Woman this year.
Oh, that'll be cool.
But I can't buy the awesome costume I want to because my butt will hang out, and that's not appropriate at work. So I found some awesome Wonder Woman leggings online.
I was gonna say you can probably get some flesh-colored leggings.
No, I bought some awesome like stars and stripes, fake boots kind of leggings. So
that's cool.
So we'll see. Anyway, sorry. Back to the Gospels. So you really like Laura Featherstone. You really are liking the Grail.
I'm liking Laura. Hoover's Hoover's funny. I love the scene where the hair star is like, "Who goes first?" And she's like, "He does." And he's like, "I do." Like,
yeah. And did you catch the "I love you"?
Oh yes.
Which was kind of weird. I mean, do they have a romantic relation? Well, maybe not, because she was offering herself to Hair Star. You think they're just partners?
Yeah, I think just in the heat of the moment, he was like, I have so many emotions because I'm about to die.
Maybe he really does love her, and he was confessing his love, and she blew it off.
Could be. I mean, when you do work that closely with someone 24/7.
Scully and Mulder.
Yeah.
They're kind of dark, Scully and Mulder.
She would chew him up and spit him out.
Sure, but she would enjoy it while she did it, and he probably
I don't even know how Hoover got past that whole, like,
the initiation process that Hair Star went through?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We know how Laura Featherstone got through it. She's scary.
Oh, of course. Of course. So what was your good?
So my good, and this is a little squicky, I should be ashamed. Humiliation in this episode. Humiliation was such a tool in this episode. So my first, and I really love this scene, Star's treatment of his date.
Yes.
Take off your shirt. What was the thing with the butter?
Okay, so honestly, my first thought, and you will all know this when I say it, and if you don't, you're lying. Last Tango in Paris?
I don't know it, and I'm not lying because I've never watched it.
Okay, yeah. So you can just probably Google Last Tango in Paris butter scene, and
yeah. Is that what it's from?
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah, there was a very humiliating scene involving butter.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, there you go.
Not fit to podcast.
On a family podcast.
But when he was like, pick up the butter, and I'm like, and take off your shirt and pick up the butter, I'm like, oh god, is this like...
is this going where I think it's going?
Yeah, because I was like, people were complaining about the next episode.
Awesome.
But yeah, I didn't understand what putting it under her chin, like, because I guess it was hold it there until it melts, just to humiliate her, I guess.
It was weird. It was just weird, but it's Hair Star.
Yeah.
Also, so his unfortunate rape fantasy, and when aren't rape fantasies unfortunate? But he didn't seem humiliated. He seemed kind of surprised and intrigued.
He kind of seemed a little bored. I mean, he was going through stuff on his desk. I mean, I thought that women could multitask, but when that's going on and you're doing work...
Well, and then my last thing in the triad of humiliation was just the fact that he was totally grilling Featherstone and Hoover while they were poised over the tarp where he intended to spatter their brains.
Yes. Yes.
So, I like I said, I should be ashamed, but I just kind of enjoyed humiliation as a tool in this episode.
That's fine. And putting a spin to both of those, I don't think Laura Featherstone can be humiliated because, like, he's like, "Where do I know you from?" And she's like, "We met here and here and,
and
here,
this morning,
and then this morning."
Right?
She has no shame.
I think you're right.
I'll put some lipstick on and get a mini skirt.
I want a professional.
So, do you think that that was intentional, getting the guys, or was that some sort of mix-up, or did they think that that was his proclivity? Like, where did that come from?
I don't think that Featherstone thought it was his proclivity because she offered herself to star.
But she outsourced that part of the mission to Hoover.
Right. I think Hoover is clueless, so I don't think it was actually any kind of burn on Hair Star. I think that he really just made an honest, ridiculous mistake.
Yeah, I was really curious about that because I was like, huh, I mean, you don't know. Like, we saw him out with a chick, but he could like guys too,
right.
Or, like, yeah, you don't know.
He's an equal opportunity humiliator.
Exactly. And he did not specify any of the things about his fantasy. I mean, that could have been his fantasy.
Right?
No means yes. It doesn't. Don't follow that. FYI.
Yeah.
No means no.
Only on Preacher, only in fantasy.
Preacher. Yep. We do not endorse or condone any of it except in Preacher because it's funny.
And rape fantasies are always unfortunate.
Yeah. How does Preacher do this? They make, like, No Means Yes funny and Hitler funny.
Right.
Like,
well, and I was on Preacher Wiki yesterday just looking at stuff for this episode, and one of the quiz question that is up on the Preacher Wiki is, who's your favorite new character of season 2? And I found myself going, Hitler. Of course it's Hitler. And I was like, that's just not right.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Liking Hitler and having rape fantasies, both unfortunate. All right. Your Job.
So my bad is Jesse.
He was kind of my bad too. You go first.
Yeah, like too much of using of the word.
Right.
And he's thrown it around all willy-nilly now that he thinks that the Saint of all Killers is gone.
And do you kind of feel like it doesn't just help the Saint track him, but it kind of makes the Saint of all Killers stronger?
Yeah.
I mean, there's part of me that's definitely like, he is just powering up the Saint of all Killers.
Okay, so in the very, very beginning, when he's sitting in the kitchen table and he's having the flashback to his dad being shot again, when they kind of panned around the room, did it look like the Saint of all Killers was sitting across from him? Like it was out of focus and it was just a shadow outline. Like I kept going back and I'm like, is that just like a pile of clothes or what is that?
So, I didn't see that, but it's interesting that you asked that because if you look at the bullet that he collected from the Saint, it's the same star that's tattooed on his back.
Oh, wow.
So that makes me wonder if the Grail and the Saint of all Killers were involved in killing Jesse's dad.
Interesting. Yeah, because there were all the clippings in Hair Star's file about preacher killed, 10-year-old boy abducted, things like that. So that is interesting.
And so did Jesse's dad have some sort of Messiah thing going on where the Grail needed to kill him like they killed those people in the village in Pig? Or did Jesse have some sort of thing that the Grail knew about early on and they killed his dad because of that to try to throw Jesse off?
Yeah, I don't know.
And now you thinking that you saw the Saint of all Killers, maybe you really did, and maybe that was kind of a reference to the Saint being involved in the killing of Jesse's dad.
Yeah, Yeah, I don't know. What was the tattoo on the guy who shot Jesse's dad? Is it the same tattoo that's on
Oh, I don't know.
Jesse's
I
back?
missed that too.
Okay, there's a tattaoo on the wrist. And they always
Oh,
show, the gun going out in the guy's arm. So we'll have to go back and look at that. But
totally.
I really feel that I mean, even though he's not physically present, he's definitely still haunting our bunch
Oh yeah,
because
the saint? Absolutely.
when Tulip got up the next morning and she went to the bathroom, they definitely flashed on the part where Jesse hid the guns underneath the floorboards.
Right.
And Tulip was, she was walking over it, and so, they are all definitely still haunted by him. So
Yes, I agree.
yeah. So yeah, my bad was Jesse is just he's just throwing it around, and I don't think it's healthy for him. I mean, not just in it could be making the saint stronger, but I kind of feel that the more he uses it, the more detached from humanity and his friends he becomes.
It's really funny that that's your Job because that was really my Job too, and I specifically focused on him using Genesis on Tulip.
Yeah.
And my
That,
comment was, he has proven repeatedly that good intentions are not enough, all the way back to episode 1.
yeah. Yeah, that was definitely the start of it for me in the episode when he used it on Tulip. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what is the one rule this woman has?
Right.
Like you consistently violate it too. It's not the first time.
And his
And
intentions were good, right? He wanted her to sleep.
right,
I mean, I
right, but I
really
mean,
think that I don't think he had any malice toward her when he used it on her this time.
he didn't. But it could have turned out so much worse if I mean, because the one guy just went into Dennis's bedroom and shot Dennis right as he
Right. And
like
she totally slept through the whole thing.
exactly. So I mean, it's just not good. But the thing that really finished it off for me is when he was using the police and nothing ever came of watching for somebody coming after them. And he's like, y'all can go home and forget about this. And like he's just so devoid when he uses it,
Yeah, he's
he
really
just
cavalier about it.
yeah, I mean, you don't know I mean, you have these people under your spell and you don't know what they could be missing out on. You don't know if one of them like has a wife who's expecting or like, has a parent on their deathbed. I mean, like these people are just under his spell and he has no regard for anybody else.
That is so
And
awful. I totally didn't think about that.
well, and I get it. Like he thinks his search is so noble. Like his big speech to Cassidy in the beginning when he was like, God is missing and things are just going to go to hell in a handbasket and blah, 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 blah. But he thinks it's such a noble search that like at any cost.
But he was so derisive about God. Like in the very beginning of the series, when he's sitting in the church, basically cursing God and saying, yeah,
Right.
show me, bring it. And then Genesis shows up.
Right.
I mean, does he really think his search is that noble, or is it just Jesse's ego trying to prove something?
Yes.
Right. I think you're probably right. It's probably all
Yeah.
of those things.
Yeah.
Well, so what was your revelation?
Um, the addition of Dennis as kind of maybe a new.
Ah!
Was that yours too?
No, but it was so cool.
Okay, but so like we find out that Cassidy has turned Dennis, and so now Dennis is a vampire and he's immortal. So is he joining our little group? Will he go on adventures with us now too, or are they going to leave him in Louisiana?
I don't know. So this was part of my word, and it plays into your revelation, which is, I wonder if Dennis's carelessness is going to be his downfall.
Mm, you
I
think?
I wonder if we're gonna watch Cassidy lose his son,
Oh, that will be heartbreaking for Cass.
especially after making the decision to turn him. Right?
Yeah, yeah. He was like, I'm really glad that he did. Like,
I am too. I
uh,
figured he would, but I'm really glad that he did.
that whole little moment of where he was feeding Cassidy the blood when after Cassidy
Right?
Yeah, and then Cassie's like, "Thank you," and he's like, "No, Papa, thank you." I'm like,
Oh,
"Oh."
we are bizarre. I can't believe we're both squeeing over that.
Oh, little old men are cute.
Right. Uh, poor Dennis. Sweet Dennis. But yeah, I'm a little concerned that, him just being like
Yeah, this
totally joyful and oblivious to everything is going to lead to his downfall.
the scene with the music where he's just like,
Yes.
"I'm alive. Screw all of you."
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So, what was yours?
Mine kind of goes back to what we were talking about a few minutes ago, but it's why is the Grail so interested in Jesse? Did the file just accumulate after Genesis entered the picture? I mean, did they start being aware of Jesse and researching him and collecting all of those clippings afterwards, or has this been a lifelong thing?
I think this has been a lifelong thing. Okay, so what do they call the unit that they're the shadow?
The
Is it the
Samson
shadow
unit.
unit?
No, isn't it the Samson unit?
Samson unit. Okay, so there was something about a shadow unit or shadow something in the file. So when Laura first encountered Jesse, and she's in the van and she's like, we need to kick it up to Samson unit.
Right.
So they were already on to him somehow. He was already on somebody's radar, and
Good observation.
there was a lower unit there. So, and I need to go back and watch for a fourth time and figure out what the file said. Something about shadow unit or shadow something. So no, I think that Jesse's been under the radar somewhere for a while.
Not just with the advent of Genesis.
Yeah, yeah,
So that was my revelation. I mean, it was, and kind of the stuff about Jesse's tattoo and the bullet and maybe the Grail being behind the murder of John Custer.
right, right.
So what have you got in your word?
So the where we left it, with Hairstar
And Jesse
and Jesse
meeting.
at the, yeah, that of course was the puzzle piece, that the episode was entitled.
Oh, very good, because, the puzzle piece was actually the girl that Star was out talking with, that he
Right.
was out with talking about the disabled person he was my
It,
puzzle piece when he smiled.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
And then when Hairstar is bent over the desk, he's like, the missing puzzle piece. Yeah. So, and I think it's interesting that Hairstar, instead of like being all like, Grail Industries or whatever, and shadowing him, it just went to the bar and had a drink with him
Mm-hmm.
and sat down. Yeah. So that leaves it open for some interesting interaction to come.
I think so too. And remember, we talked about how there's quite a link between Jesse and Hairstar in the comics.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. There was another thing about Hairstar. Oh, we'll get into it. What was yours?
so I didn't have a whole lot in the word. I did think that battle ready remote operated aerial drone was funny. Um, and I don't know what Harry Connick, or I mean what Seth Rogen has about like B-list celebrities, but he killed Tom Cruise off, and now he has Brad crashing into Harry Connick Jr.'s house. I
I
thought
don't
that
think
was really funny.
I don't think Tom Cruise is B-list.
Well, I think of Tom Cruise as B-list. I'm not a Tom Cruise fan.
I'm not a Tom Cruise fan either. Um,
Sorry, Scientology. Hail Xenu.
oh, that's funny.
We're terrible.
Yeah, I thought that was funny that it was Harry. Maybe it could have been anyone, because there's actually a lot of celebrities that have homes in
In New
New
Orleans.
Orleans.
Hmm.
I mean, Brad Pitt has a home there. I think what's her name from Practical Magic? Not the kid.
Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, I think Sandra Bullock has one right around there.
I don't
But
know.
Yeah, so you could have killed anyone, but you
Yeah.
killed Harry Connick Jr.
I don't, did he kill Harry Connick Jr. or did it just destroy his house?
Just destroyed his house. That's a valid point that, like, Harry Connick Jr. could have been anywhere.
But he seems to like picking on celebrities, Seth
Yeah.
Rogen.
I think it's all in good fun. If you've
I
ever
do
seen,
too.
yeah, if you've ever seen The End,
Which I
this
have
is
not.
this is The End with Seth Rogen. There's a whole bunch of celebrities that play themselves, and they totally are in on the joke and make fun of themselves, and
Right
yeah,
on.
so yeah, he never lets anyone's head get too big.
Very
So
good.
yeah, he kind of reminds me of the South Park guys in that, everybody is, if anybody is fair game, everybody is fair game.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah.
Even if you lose the chef.
That's funny.
That was really all in my word. I found a couple of numbers. Did you find any numbers?
I didn't. Kind of. There were 6 guys that came in from the Grail Industries that attacked the house, and they kept alluding to the number 6 there, but I mean, it wasn't written down or anything. So,
So did you look up the significance of number 6?
there's not much significance that I could find. No.
So
Did you find any numbers?
I just found 2 numbers. So Hoover and Featherstone had 23 minutes to evacuate. And so when I looked up 23,
September 23rd, the world's gonna end.
oh, right. Is that thing that I shared?
I don't know, but that's the first thing that comes up. Is
Oh
September
my God,
23rd,
that's hilarious.
Bible prophecy that proves the world will end.
Okay, I totally missed that. But, the 23rd Psalm, right?
Okay.
Huge number. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Adam and Eve supposedly had 23 daughters.
Ooh.
And I thought this was really interesting, and I don't know if this is true. It doesn't seem valid, but this was a thing I found on one of those Bible study websites. Jezebel is referenced 23 times, whereas Mary is only referenced 19 times in the Bible.
Wow.
I know, right?
Go Jezebel. You get it, girl.
And then I found 113 because Hairstar says to the girl that he's out on a date with that he has Grail agents in 113 countries around the world.
Oh, that's right.
So I looked up 113, and Psalm 113, another psalm, asserts the greatness of God. But I thought this was really interesting. This is from a site called Bible Numbers for Life, which, I mean, who knows how valid this is, right? But
Who knows how we're talking about the Bible here. No offense to anybody, but like I said, if you guys can pick and choose stuff you want out of the Bible, I can pick and choose stuff I want out of the Bible too.
Well, and we're talking about the Bible in the context of Preacher,
Right.
which is even
Exactly.
funnier. But according to this website, number 113 refers to the rapture of the saints, and they specifically called it "Snatch Away the Saints." And then I was like, "Saint of all killers." So
Interesting.
that's all I found.
Interesting. So yeah, as of the date of this podcast, we have 8 days to live.
Oh, what are you going to do with your next 8 days?
Try and recover from walking pneumonia, I guess.
I mean, I like have all these charts to catch up on, but I don't know if I should expend the energy if the world's going to end in 8 days.
Right? I've got quite a liquor cabinet that I could be making a dent in.
Mm-hmm. I mean, really, I've foregone ice cream for the last year. Maybe I should eat ice cream if the world's going to end in 8 days.
Oh, good Lord, I had ice cream tonight.
Well, you know that I've been on a big, I'm going to be really, really healthy kick.
Yeah, you can do that for the both of us.
I mean, I did my cardio tonight. I know this is the wrong podcast, but I did my cardio tonight, so...
I got up from the couch to come into podcast. I'm going back to the couch.
I don't have anything else, do you?
Not really.
It's kind of short tonight, but
Yeah.
I just didn't have a lot else to add to this episode.
I think it'll be all good because I think we'll probably have a lot to say about the next
About the next one. And we will dedicate that airing to 1 million moms.
Yep.
Well, Cass,
Till the end of the world.
till the end of the world. Good night,
Good night.
everybody.
And no means no.
No means no. Do not have. No, I don't mean to shame you in terms of your sex life, but rape fantasies are always a bad idea.
Keep them as fantasies.
Right. All right, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
Left his body